Hi guys, and welcome back to another Metagrim vlog. It's been a long time since I have um, put up a video, a vlog, or gameplay video, or anything else. It's been since April when I had that Assassin's Creed Unity gameplay where I just gave a life update and played some Assassin's Creed. So I wanted to talk a little bit about something that has been going around on Twitter and stuff um, lately with people that I follow and people that follow me talking about mental health and the importance of being open about mental health and and things like that, because it's easy to isolate yourself, and it's easy for people with dealing with mental health issues to feel isolated even if they're not. um, Chances are you know at least one person. You're guaranteed to know at least one person, if not many people, that that struggle with mental health issues of one variety or another, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. I wanted to talk very briefly about some things that kind of led to me kind of discovering that I needed to take better care of my mental health. So, as a lot of you are aware, last year I had a number of health issues. I had an inguinal hernia that I needed surgery for. I had, and then as well, I've talked about this before, but things that led to me kind of not doing YouTube and video making and stuff as much anymore is work drama, work stress, stuff like that. Just the stress of like day-to-day life, like um, uh, taking my kid to school. My wife and I don't have family nearby or anything like that, so it's just us, the two of us, with the kid all the time. So it's weekends doing stuff with the kid, which is great. He's so awesome now. He's so great. So much fun to be around now. But it's still a thing that you got to do, right? It's still a thing you got to take care of. Um, Work and blah blah blah. All the usual crap. Um, is can be a major stressor if you have other bigger stressors also in your life. It makes it hard to cope with that just everyday stuff. So I had that. I had the hernia. I had the work drama. On Thanksgiving of last year, my dog, my Whippet, Stein, the gray dog, if you've seen my videos and stuff before, and I've tweeted about this, he died very suddenly. We think it was an aneurysm, possibly a heart attack. He was only 10. He probably should have lived for at least another few years. So that was also very hard. That was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Where it was the dog dying. It was like hernia and back problems, and I've been sick a lot, and kid, and my wife has had some mental health issues too. So neither she or I were like the easiest people to live with last year. So I'm not saying it's all her fault and that she's crazy or anything like that, because I am too. Um, so just a lot of stress in the house and stuff like that. And I was just like, I just gotta hit my breaking point. And I've been having an especially hard time like concentrating at work, getting motivated to do work or things at home too. Just like very easily distracted. And my wife has always kind of noticed that about me. And one day she was like, "Do you think maybe you have maybe it's not just anxiety that's doing this, or depression or anything? You think maybe it's maybe you have ADHD?" And I was like, "What? Huh?" I mean, I knew what ADHD was, but I didn't really know that much about it. And I never really thought about it in terms of me before. And so I looked into it and I was like, yeah, this kind of sounds like me. I should probably talk to somebody about that and all of these other super huge issues that are going on with me right now. So I did that. So I made an appointment with a clinical psychologist, and clinical psychologists are people who can diagnose you. Um, just a therapist can't diagnose you. And really any psychologist can diagnose you, I suppose. But clinical psychologists that's kind of their focus, is diagnosis and figuring out courses of treatment for people. So sometimes they work in hospitals, sometimes they work it's private practice. And I went to see a private practice person who knows a lot about ADHD as well. So I went to see that person, and it didn't take her very long at all, asking me questions about my life, about my childhood, about school, about work, to be like, yep, yeah, you have ADHD. So go figure. We've talked about the anxiety issues and things like that too. And I was having insomnia as well. We'll get to that in a little bit. So the primary treatment for ADHD is medication, because ADHD is a chemical problem in your brain, not having as much dopamine as as normal people do. And if you look at brain scans of people with ADHD, there's a lot less activity going on in the brain of a person that has ADHD in the areas of the brain that deal with attention and focus and motivation. It's very interesting. And she noted pretty aptly, I would say, that for me, she was like, you have like a moderate case of ADHD. She's like, you've coped really well throughout your life because you went to I've gone to college, I went to grad school, I have a job, I have a very long-term relationship now. With a lot of people with more severe cases of ADHD than me, have substance abuse problems. They can't hold down a job. They can't keep a relationship. Things like that. And I don't have any of that. So that's great. That said, it's not easy for me to maintain a normal life. Not to sound like I don't want to make it sound like I think that I'm a victim or something, but my psychologist has said, yeah, it's harder for you to do normal everyday things like pay attention to conversations, to have a project and sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to work on this project, and then actually work on the project and get it done. That's really like my main thing, is like motivation to do something, or I can have as much motivation in the world to do something. But if it's not like, oh my God, this is amazing, I'm like just absolutely thrilled and jazzed to work on it. Even if I'm just like, yeah, that sounds cool, I can start trying, or I not start working on something and be like, yeah, I should do that, and not do it. And a lot of people have problems with that. I mean, we live in a very distractible society, with personal and work emails and IMs and phone calls and RSS feeds and people coming to your desk or coming to your house and people you gotta, visit with, and small talk and meetings and appointments and blah, blah, blah. There's so much stuff, so much stimulus coming at us all the time. For a normal person to be distracted is, and I mean, when I say normal person, it's not to say that people with ADHD aren't normal, because they totally are. 1 in 8 people, I believe it is, have ADHD. So it's very common, but so they're normal people too. But non-ADHD people, I should say, can find themselves distracted very easily in our society. But it's even harder for an ADHD person. And I can fully intend to work on something and not get it done for days. I mean, there are sometimes weeks that go by that I do not check a single thing off of my to-do list that I should get done, and my to-do list just keeps getting longer. And then the other side of ADHD is you can like hyper focus on things randomly, seemingly randomly for me. And so those weeks will go by where I get nothing done, and then I will have like one day where I get a just crap ton of stuff done. And so it kind of sort of evens out, kind of, maybe. Not really. But, that's why I don't get fired, basically. Is and the things that are mission critical, I am able to pull through and get those done. But, it's all the little things and all the medium things that I have a hard time with. So that's why I don't get fired. That's why I still have a job. But it is very hard for me to do that stuff. So medication helps. It restores dopamine in your brain and allows you to focus if your environment is conducive to being focused. So there's a lot of kind of organizational strategies and cognitive behavioral therapy that goes along with medication, that needs to go along with medication, as well as exercising more, eating good, getting enough sleep, that kind of stuff. So, and ADHD pairs very well with anxiety and depression as well. Of which, depression I've kind of had looming kind of in the back of my mind for the last few years. But it'd been kind of manageable up until recently. And the anxiety too. Anxiety is something that I've had a problem with throughout my life, and I've usually coped with it pretty well. So it was usually fairly isolated, but I think I've just had so many stressors in my life over the last year or so that I hit the point where I was unable to cope. So I tried out Adderall XR for a while. The first day that you take a stimulant, so like Adderall or Ritalin or Concerta or something, is like, oh, amazing. I had the most productive day. I crossed off so many things off my to-do list. It was amazing. But then it just like tanks after that. And then I up my dose to 20 milligrams, and I've had mixed success with that. Again, you got to have the proper everything set up, and even if things are set up, normal people have distracted days too, and that's what happens on the medication. You're, a non-ADHD person level. So I was still having a lot of problem with anxiety and insomnia, which has gotten worse. It did get worse throughout 2015. So it was basically January when it started, and it just got worse and worse and worse and worse throughout the year. Especially July and August was terrible. And I went to the doctor a couple of times. I was like, "Oh, I'm having a problem sleeping." He was like, "Well, why don't you try taking trazodone, which is it was a tricyclic antidepressant, I believe. It was an earlier antidepressant, and at the dose that they prescribe it for sleeping now doesn't help with depression, but it can make you drowsy. And I took that for a little while. For a couple of weeks, it worked really well, and then it stopped working. So I went back to the doctor, and I was like, this isn't working. And I would rather not be taking a sleeping medication, like Ambien or something like that. Because ultimately that doesn't work. The reason why you can't sleep is because, either you're super anxious about stuff, or it's a learned behavior over time. And you start to associate being in your bed or being in your bedroom or trying to go to sleep with anxiety and being awake. So I was like, I don't want to do that. That sounds terrible. So then we went the antidepressant route. And so I started on an SSRI. I started on Lexapro a couple months back now. And it's helped a lot. It really has helped a lot. I feel like a person again. Because I didn't there. I was really, really super nervous, super anxious. I wasn't sleeping. The depression was bad. I just had like a lot of negative thoughts and stuff like that. I just couldn't shake it. And for me, the SSRI has helped a lot. It's not to say that it's going to continue to work forever, or that that's the silver bullet or anything like that. Um, Along with that, I also started doing uh, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, for insomnia, cbt-i, which I was researching insomnia and how to kick insomnia. And cbt-i is basically, if you go to a sleep lab or you go see a sleep psychologist or something like that, because of insomnia, is what they will have you do. um, so there's a book out there called the Insomnia Workbook, and I don't recall who the author is. I'll try to remember and put it in the description. Um, it's got a picture of some pillows on the cover, a bed. It's like purplish. There, go find it. Anyway, so I read that, and I worked through that. So I did sleep restriction as part of that, which is part of it. First, you log your sleep, like how much time you're spending in bed, how much time you're actually sleeping, when are you awake, that kind of stuff. You log that for a while, and then you restrict your sleep time to roughly the amount of hours that you're actually sleeping every night. So for me, I was about 5 hours on average. So like there would be some days when I wouldn't sleep at all, an entire night, or I'd sleep like an hour or two. But then I would have other days where I slept like 6 hours or 7 hours. So it was a little bit erratic. And then before I went on the Lexapro, I was having a really hard time going to sleep. And then after I started taking the Lexapro, I was waking up at night. So I was getting about the same amount of sleep before and after, but it made it easier to go to sleep. So the sleep restriction, and then what you do is you're still charting how much time you're sleeping, and then if you're sleeping 90% of the time that you're in bed or longer, then the next week you get to add 15 minutes of sleep to your schedule. And you wake up, you go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. And if you wake up in the middle of the night, or you lay down to go to bed and you don't fall asleep for 15 minutes, what you estimate is 15 minutes. You're not supposed to like watch the clock, but you just estimate, like in your brain, you're like, oh, it's probably been 15 minutes. You get up and you leave the bedroom. You go do something else. You like read. You shouldn't watch TV. You shouldn't do anything super engaging, but you read like a boring article or something like that. Or just relax, do like visualization exercises, relaxing exercises like progressive muscle relaxation, things like that, quiet things. And you go do that until you get sleepy. And you don't even try to go to bed until you're sleepy. So, and if that means that you don't sleep, you only sleep 3 hours that day, too bad. You don't be like, well, I'll sleep in until 10. Because that's just perpetuating the insomnia. So I did that. I did that for 3 weeks. And then I got sick. I got a cold, which I'm surprised I didn't get. I'm surprised I haven't been sick as a dog this year because of how little I've been sleeping and how much stress I've had. This was the first cold I had all year. It was just a couple weeks, just like a month ago. And I had that, and then I was like, okay, I have to throw this out the window because I'm exhausted. I'm just like, when you get sick, you get more tired. I slept so much when I was sick. I slept a lot. And then after that, I was like, I'm sleeping well. I'm not waking up in the middle of the night very much. If I am, it's only for a little bit. So I think I'm okay with that. And then I was done with the sleep restriction. I was just like, I guess this is it. I'm not sleeping as well as I did like a year ago, but I'm not sleeping so poorly that it's like affecting my life so much every day either. So I consider that a success. along with that too, along with the insomnia stuff is, like I said, the relaxation sort of stuff, making sure you're getting enough exercise, you're eating well, trying to stop like that negative self talk and all of the same things that you do for anxiety um, and depression kind of go along with that. So I feel a lot better than I did even 2 months ago from the medication, the taking care of the insomnia, doing all that stuff to help with that like negative self-talk. For me though, I needed to have the medication before trying to work on that the negative self-talk and the relaxation stuff would work, because I was trying to do it before that and it wasn't working. Um, because I've done, like I've said, I've had problems with anxiety before, and not this isn't my first trip to the rodeo, so I know how it works. Um, and my coping strategies failed, so I needed something else. So for right now, I'm on the medication. Do I think that I'll be on medication forever? No. Um, but for now, it's the right thing for me to do. I think I'm going to try maybe a year, maybe less. Whenever I feel ready to go off the medication, I will do so. And if I need to go back on the medication again, that's okay. That's fine. I'm all right with that. But I don't intend to be on it forever. Anyway, I wanted to just talk a little bit about my experience with ADHD, with anxiety, with depression, with insomnia, and just kind of gloss over all of those issues to a certain extent. I'm intending this video for mostly people that I follow on Twitter, or people I follow on Twitter, people that follow me on Twitter, people that have watched my YouTube videos before, my gameplay stuff. But if you're coming to this and you don't already know me, or even if you do, if you have any questions about my experience and what's worked for me, what hasn't, both on medication and off medication, since I have experience working with this, especially with anxiety, insomnia too, to a certain extent. Let me know, and I'm happy to talk more. If there's something that seems like a particularly popular question, maybe I'll do a separate video just on that. So I don't consider myself an expert, obviously. I'm not a mental health professional. If you are really struggling with any of these issues, I suggest that you talk to your doctor, or seek out a mental health professional to help you, because those are the people that are actually going to help. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer. As far as other things going on, let's see. I'll give a very brief update on other things that have been going on since April, since my last video. So this summer, my family went back to the Midwest. We're from Minnesota and Wisconsin. I'm from Minnesota. My wife is from Wisconsin. Went back, spent some time with family and friends. My wife's family still lives in Wisconsin. Lives in the area of Wisconsin close to Minnesota, western Wisconsin. I don't have any family left in Minnesota anymore, in that region anymore. So, but still a lot of friends. And my wife ran the Grandma's Marathon there, which is Grandma's Marathon is in Duluth, and it's on the North Shore of Lake Superior. The marathon is, and she got her personal best, 3 hours 47 minutes. And a marathon, for those of you that don't know, is 26.2 miles. So that's a very good time. And my wife's running news, which I'll gladly take as my own, since I'm lazy. I don't do that kind of stuff. She just ran her first 50K, which is 31 miles. yesterday, and she got, I don't know, it was like 5 hours, 40 minutes, something like that, I think was her time. Amazing. It's nuts. So she likes running. That's her coping mechanism. And so let's see, we went back to the Midwest. We went to a cabin. We had a cabin in the Midwest for a week. It was great. It was a lot of fun. And what else has been going on? Just the usual. My son is so much fun now. He's 4.5. He's super smart. He loves, he likes fun stuff. He's getting more into dad now. It's like dad and things that dad likes, and he enjoys playing with me and stuff a lot now, which is awesome. It's so much fun. And then let's see, what else has been going on? I don't know, just the usual, really. But it's been good. Things have been a lot better. For Thanksgiving this year, instead of being at home or having people over or going over to people's house, because my dog died on Thanksgiving, we wanted to do something really fun this year. So we're going to Great Wolf Lodge on Thanksgiving this year. So we're going to go on water slides and just have fun on Thanksgiving. 2 nights we're going at Great Wolf Lodge. So that'll be fun. My wife and my son are going back to Wisconsin again for Christmas. I'm staying here. We're going to do Christmas with the family here before they go. And I'm just going to stay here. And I'll probably go to a friend's house or something like that. And I'll probably play a crap ton of video games. So I'm not sad about not going. I don't really like going back for Christmas. It's just way too stressful. And it costs so much. And that's really the reason why we're doing it, is we're going to save probably $1,500 if I don't go, because we won't have to get somebody to board the pets. We won't need another airfare. We won't have to rent a car because somebody will come pick my wife and my son up. So yeah, it's just going to save a lot of money. So it's actually less stressful for me to stay here, be by myself, than it is for me to go. So it'll be fun. I might actually stream. I might actually do some streaming while they're gone. And I mean, I don't really intend to do streaming regularly or anything, but it might be fun to do while they're gone and I have the house to myself and stuff. Anyway, I blabbed on for a long time. Kudos to you if you listen to this entire thing. And do let me know if you have any questions. I hope everything is going great with you, and if you're not, I hope this video helped. And talk about it. Talk about it with people. If you're struggling with any of these issues, talk about it with people you love, your friends, your family. Talk about it with your doctor, and consider going to therapy, seeing a psychologist or a psychiatrist to help you out. If you go to a psychologist, your doctor can still prescribe you antidepressants, and my doctor prescribes ADHD medication as well. So you don't have to necessarily go to a psychiatrist too, but that's very expensive. So there are ways to control those costs, and there are ways to get resources even if you don't have great coverage, insurance coverage, if you live in the United States. So go talk to somebody, find out about what your options. Okay. Again, thanks again for watching. Feel free to comment. Talk to me on Twitter. My links are in the description and elsewhere. So thanks again. Have a great day, and see you next time. Bye-bye.